Fractions of time of life on the streets. Life on the streets. Con is a homeless man on the streets, living day to day and where crime pays the way to be able to sleep in a bed for the night. That's if all the hostel's beds are not full up that night. The B&Bs will not take you in for the night if you look dirty or rough looking. So what can Con do but sleep on the streets for the night, or commit a small crime of trespassing in a boarded up house or in a broken down building, where he wakes up with the shakes and a head cold and his lips so blue and hands so numb with the night's cold, and curls up into a ball in his sleeping bag for a while, thinking where he is going to get food from. Con gets up to go to the shop with no money. He picks up a bottle of Coca-Cola and goes to the hot food counter. He orders a breakfast roll and the security man is watching him all around the shop, so Con stands in the line at the counter behind all the people in the shop so he can get the security man's eyes of him. The security man turns away and he is fourth in the line and he moves out and walks out the door where the security man is standing. So Con asked the security man, "Excuse me, do you have the right time?" The security man said it is 10:30. Con said to the security man, "Thank you and have a good day," as he is walking away from the shop. Thinking, yes, his belly will be full for a while. He finds somewhere like a park to sit down to eat and drink the food. Half eating the roll and the drink, along comes the Gardaraka police. They ask him his name and address. He tells them and he asked them why did they stop him. The police said, "Because you look homeless and lost. Con, get out of here and don't let us see you around here or we will arrest you." And one of the Garda was on his walkie-talkie to see if Con is a wanted man, keeping him in his sight as Con is walking away from them, eating the rest of his breakfast roll and drink. Later on in life, this leads him in prison a couple of times. He walks around for a little while more and ends to the extension, which is a homeless drop-in center. You can get a shower, a new sleeping bag, clean underwear and a place to relax. You make phone calls for flats and jobs, and it's a place to make new homeless friends. You can eat a sandwich and have a cup of tea or coffee. You can get your clothes cleaned and you can pick them up the next day where the staff have a friendly face. The new homeless friends you make, you are lucky to know them for a few weeks. The small few you will know for 1 or 2 years, they are like a street family, but more than half will end up alcoholics or drug takers or worse, dead. But 1 or 2 will make it in life. Con leaves the extension at 1700 hours to walk around some more. The extension is only open 5 days a week. He walks into town to see who's around and finds nobody. So he goes shoplifting for more food and a drink and to find somewhere to sleep for the night while getting stopped at every turn and getting told to move on by the police. Con thinks this is not right, so he calls the police names and said to them, "If I break this window, what will you do?" The police said, "We will arrest you." So at that, Con picked up a road sign and threw it. At that the police arrested him, and as they were putting him in a cell the police said, "We got you now." Con said, "How yous did not get me, I did it for a bed for the night." So Con closes the cell door and says good night. The next morning the cell door opens and the police asks him his name and age. Con said, "My name is Batman, no joke, it's Con. I am 14. So he got a warning this time. He walks around the city to find a new place to sleep. He bumps into a group of 20 homeless people and some of them are drinking. Con hangs around with them, some of them are his age and a little older. The night bus comes around with soup, tea, coffee and sandwiches and to take 14 of the homeless people to a hostel. He is too young to go on the bus, it is for over 18s. 6 of them stayed with him. They become good friends. They find a corner in a car park out of the way. They take the rucksacks from their backs so as to take out their sleeping bags to camel there for the night. Con and 4 of them are to get the food and 2 of them are to mind the rucksacks, sleeping bags and the camp. Con gets an idea to get food and drinks. He sends one of them to the shop to get a few plastic bags. Outside the shop the 5 of us walk to a different shop. He tells them his idea, so Con said to John, "We go into the shop, first down the back of the shop, and you 3 mingle in with the customers with the bags. When all eyes are on me and John, fill the bags up. When I take off my hat, get out of the shop. Get me 2 bottles of Coca-Cola. John and I will go down the back of the shop. We start fighting. The shopkeeper and the security man walk down the back of the shop to see what is going on, so we stop fighting and start talking in front of the shopkeeper and the security man. I take off my hat and make friends with John in front of the shopkeeper and the secretary man. They told Con and John to get out of the shop, so we did. The other 3 were around the corner, so Con and John walk around to them and they go back to the car park out of the way where they can enjoy their food. Con said, "Did you get my 2 bottles of Coca-Cola?" Hell yes, we did. They all start talking about where they ended up on the streets. John asks Con, "How long are you on the streets?" Con said, "Long time, since I was 12 years old." The first time he slept on the streets, he can remember it well, like it was yesterday. The first day on the streets it was pissing rain, and he is standing there with holes in his shoes, the knees cut out off his trousers, and with his Spiderman shirt on. He was scared and had nowhere to go, so he walked around till he got tired. He was on Moore Street, had to find somewhere to sleep. He got a few cardboard boxes, and one of the steel market stalls was shaped like a box, so he put the cardboard boxes into the stall and pulled the stall over him. Inside the stall he covered the ground with the cardboard boxes. It was scary. He was tired that he fell asleep. The next morning a few homeless people could tell he was homeless, and they took him under their wings. Con said to himself, I've better get streetwise fast, put my toys down and grow up. Then we walk around, and we stop at a survival camping shop. It was closed. One of the homeless men was looking in the shop at a clothes mannequin and then looked at Con. Then the homeless men pick up a road sign and put it through the window. He took the clothes off the mannequin, and the group of them and Con walk away. Then the homeless man said to Con, go around the corner and put them new clothes on you. So Con did. The clothes were a little big on him. The homeless man said, you will grow into them, and all you need is a pair of runners. We will get them for you, and we will look out for you. So Con, this is what you do, go to the police station and ask for a social worker who deals with homeless people. They can help you find a good safe place for you to sleep. Tell them you are 13 years old. If you don't want your family to find you, give them a fake name. Con said his family doesn't give a shit about him. If they did, he would not be standing here, he would be at home. So Con ends up in a teenager hostel. The next day he meets with the homeless group. They got him a new pair of runners. He puts them on his feet. Con, it is time to go to your hostel, see you tomorrow. He knows they are going to take their drugs and drink, and that they never take drugs in front of him. Con goes into lots of different hostels till he is 18 years old. Then he goes into adult hostels. John and the group said, oh my god, that is fucked up. Con said, the first day on the streets. Then he said, pass the 2 bottles of Coke, the pack of crisps and the roll. Then he is going to sleep. John was missing home, you can see the tears in his eyes. Con said, we all will help you write a little letter to your mum in the morning. That car alarm is doing my head in, let's turn it off. Con finds a long thin steel bar, puts the long bar into the indicator of the car, and the car alarm stopped. Con gets into his sleeping bag and go to sleep. Then the next morning, Con and the group wake up at 12 o'clock and go to the corporation homeless housing unit to put his name on the list. He gets a number 51, and 50 people are in front of him. He goes outside to the group and says, where is John? It is his payday today, okay? Said Con. When he gets back we can help him write a letter to his mum. John is back. Con said, let's get this letter to your mum and we all will post it. Back into the corporation, Con is next to be seen. He goes to the window and sits down and gives the corporation his information. The woman said, you are only 14 years old. Con said yes. The woman said, you are too young to get a flat. Come back when you are 18 years old and we see what we can do for you in getting a flat. He said, how long is the waiting list for a flat? She said, at least 10 years. Con said, at least 10 years? So he can get a flat when he is 27 years old. Con said, I am living on the streets, I might be dead die then. Thanks a lot. At this time he know there is nothing in life for him, so he stops giving a fuck about life, because all the people that he say yes you can have the job to pay for your houses, then they are saying no. Back to John's letter. 2 weeks later John got to go home to his mum's house. This is the last time Con sees John, and 3 of the group end up on hard drugs. 2 of them have good jobs. Con is in and out of hostels, on and off the streets, in and out of prison. Con is invisible to the people that can say yes to him, even when he is sitting in front of them with his information. Invisible is like being dead, you have nothing to look forward to in life. His head is fucked up and he tries to take his life. He knows what it is like to look down the barrel of a gun and the bottom of a bottle of tablets, suicide. Con wakes up the next day after taking the tablets. And he said to himself, life goes on. He walks around the city before going to his hostel to sleep in a bed that night. 4 years later, Con is 18 years old. He can get the dole. He goes to the social welfare to see can he get money so he can survive a little more in life and move into the IV hostel. The hostel you can come and go from when you like. 3 meals a day, but he had to lie to get in the door. Con said he was working and that it's a working nan's hostel. He stayed in the IV for a few weeks. He made a few friends in there. Time to move out. Then he moves into the Salvation Army hostel. He made a few friends. Time to move out. Back on the streets, the welfare gives me a free telephone number for emergency beds and the night bus. Con is 18 now. He can get the night bus to get put in with alcoholics and drug takers. In Cedar House Hostel, sitting down to eat his food, across the table someone asks him for a smoke. Con gives him a smoke. He lights up the smoke and he falls off his seat. The drug taker on the floor died for overdosing on hard drugs. Con eats the rest of his food. He said life goes on. Bedtime in the hostel dormitory, where there are more alcoholics and drug takers. Where you sleep with your runners tied together and your clothes on you. The next morning the smell of dead people in the dormitory is unbelievable. He looks over to where the smell is coming from. 3 beds over, the man has died of hard drugs, and he was drinking a lot of alcohol. Con said life goes on. He has seen a lot of people die in hostels and on the streets, so Con decided to stay away from the emergency beds and the emergency free telephone number. Con buys a tent and a new sleeping bag and moves in the tent. The social welfare thinks he is in a hostel. The social welfare tells him that he is able to get the disability allowance and a free travel pass. So he uses the pass to travel around Ireland. He makes a lot of new friends on his travels. Sometimes Con sleeps in the tent or B&Bs or in the hostels. So 9 years later, at 27 years old, he has no home or house or flat from the Dublin City Corporations. Yet he gets the rent allowance from the social welfare. He moves into a flat till he is 29 years old. The landlord is selling the flats, so he ends up back on the streets. He sleeps in a tent for 7 months, then he moves into the Salvation Army hostel for 5 months. Con said to himself life has to change. Then he moves into the YMCA. It's not like any place he has been before. The staff there were a great help to him. It's not home, but it's the next step to getting one. The staff asked him what type of job he would like to work at, and he said, with the homeless young people to help them get off the streets, or in a youth work center. Con's key worker at the YMCA has a youth work service, and she will put in a word for him for a job in youth work. At that, Con said there is no point. He thinks he will not get the job in youth services. His key worker said why not ? He said because he was homeless and he was in prison, and if something goes missing he will feel guilty even if he did not take it, and the staff will blame him. The next key working meeting a few weeks later, she said you have an interview with one of the staff in youth work. Con said thanks and he goes to his room thinking, is this all a joke, and why are they so helpful to him? He goes to the interview, but it was a staff meeting about the planning of the summer project, which is to take place in a few months' time. One of the staff asked him to fill out a form and a police vetting form. He brings back the information to his key worker for help to fill in the form. Con and his key worker start the police vetting form. He wrote down from the first time and the last time he was in trouble with the police and all the addresses he had in the past. A few weeks later his key worker said your police vetting is back. What do you think the outcome of it is? The key worker asks. Con said it's not the bad crimes I did. He did them in order to survive on and off the streets. His key worker said I have good news for you Con, the Youth Work Services is starting their new summer project this week, and so are you. Con said to himself he had to better himself every day and to learn how to read and write. In the new job, the staff help him with his education. Con has 2 different educations, one from his job and one from the streets. Then the staff give him an iPod for Christmas, then he had to find out how to use it by putting it on a computer, and then he had to find out how to use the computer. This helps him to learn how to read and write a lot more. There are a lot of different courses around youth work, and this helps him to be more confident in himself. Now he has the iPod, a laptop and 160 GB hard drive to go with it, and a little flat. It's not home. He has all this because for the first time the job said yes to him. People have dreams of getting big houses and a big car. Con's dream is to have a 2-bedroom flat with a balcony. Keys for the door from the Dublin City Corporation, yes, and a big car, the Aston Martin, and a good job to help pay for it all. Why not? This is just a dream, but he got the job. As they say, 2 out of 3 is not bad.